Well, good afternoon, good late morning, depending on where you are. I'm Nate Russell. I'm one of the lead judges, and the other lead judge is Nadia. Just a quick introduction. We'll introduce all the judges first, and then I'll ask the team to introduce themselves, and then I'll go through and read some required information, and then we'll kick it off. So I'm Nate Russell, and I'm Associate Director for Raytheon Company as a contracts manager and as a aerospace and defense company. Nadia?
Yes, so thank you very much, Nate. I'm Nadia, and I am a vice president at Citi, and specifically with the Citi Group Global Markets Inc. area. I focus on legal entity risk management, specifically focused on non-banking products, meaning just like swaps, derivatives, and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm very excited to learn more about your presentation. So
Thanks. Monica?
Good morning. I'm Monica McKnight. I am a principal tax compliance officer with the City of Los Angeles over our billing and collections, dealing with the our outside collection agencies and also collection of business tax. Thank you.
Thanks. Anna?
My name is Anna Tokarska. I work for the Aerospace Corporation. I focus primarily in human resources on compensation programs for the company and employees.
Thanks. And Ed? Whoop. You're on mute, Ed? Okay. Did you guys want to introduce yourselves, the team?
Part of my introduction, I end up introducing the whole team. Did you want us to do it one by one, or?
No, you know what? Let's go ahead. I'll kick it off and then I'll turn it over to you guys.
Okay.
Let me read some information.
Okay.
So in this part of the competition, you are taking on a fictional business identity and assigning a fictional business identity to the judges. Please make sure everyone knows who you are and who they are before you begin. You'll have 25 minutes to describe the legal, financial, and ethical dimensions of the problem and to recommend a solution that passes muster on all three counts. During this time, teams will be uninterrupted. When you are finished, the judges will ask you questions for 10 to 15 minutes. During the Q&A, both you and the judges stay in character. After the Q&A, the judges will give you feedback outside the role playing. So I'm going to start the clock and then you can begin. I'm going to start it now.
Okay, I'll go first. Sego, hola, welcome. My name is Ganyeta Hawi, also Donna Lazor. I am part of the Energy Solutions. Oh, hold on. The Energy Solutions. Oh, right there. Okay. Consolidated team. And today we're going to be speaking about the ethical impacts of electric vehicles in today's society. And for the judges' role, we are asking that the judges be members of the International Council of Mining and Metals. So just act as a member. Okay. We have, let me see. Okay, we chose our topic on electric vehicles from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 15, which is life in the land. They talk about protecting, restoring, and promoting the use of the ecosystems to sustain forests, to combat desertification, to halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. which brings us into it. It sort of ties into our beliefs as Native Americans. Our belief system we follow is called Ohando Gully Wadekwa. It's our Thanksgiving prayer. We, oh my God, hold on, I'm a little bit nervous. Okay, every time we have a gathering or a meeting, we come together as one. We call it when we put our great minds together, we need to say an opening prayer that we can take and we can spread into the universe. We do an opening prayer, oh my God, by by starting with giving thanks to the people, to Mother Earth. And as you can see, like, we give thanks to the plants. We have many ecosystems that we care for too. We are biodiversity, we give thanks to the trees, the birds, the thunders. I included a handout of our Ohando Gully Wadekwa that includes the opening and everything we give thanks to. It includes our closing, and I also included a smudge prayer in there. The smudging is for whenever evil or bad thoughts come our way. We were told to smudge, and it helps protect. We use sweetgrass and sage. So, and the reason why I bring this up is because we too fight against the biodiversity. We also believe in protecting Mother Earth and our lands. And okay, hold on. So we okay. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I'm having a brain fart right now. Okay, so because of this, like I can't go into saying the full Ohando Gully Wadekwa. So it's a time sensitive thing, our competition. So I'm gonna go right into, instead of like, well, that's why I gave the handouts. So now we're gonna meet the team. We have Anthony Barker. He's our ethical senior consultant, and he joins us from Evan Mills, New York. We have Kobe Cree, our chief executive officer, who's joining us from Akwesasne, New York. We have Will Frank, our legal consultant, and he joins us from Skinny Atlas, New York. And then we have myself, Donna Lazor, and I'm from Akwesasne, New York. I'm the junior consultant. Today, okay, so our overview. For many years, the strip mining made widespread controversy. I'm not even gonna, I was supposed to read the executive summary as some breakdown of it, but I'm sort of having a little brain fart. So today, our solution we propose is we research different types of vehicles, and we would like to speak more about the hydrogen vehicles. We explored the legal, the financial, and the ethical aspects of electric vehicles, and like the impact on the environment. Our conclusion is the wrap up with a quick summary of the hydrogen vehicles, which will include our closing prayer and presented by our CEO, Kobe Cree. Oh, oops. Oh no, I jumped ahead. Okay, so sit back, relax, enjoy the next 20 minutes as we explore electric vehicles, hydrogen vehicles. Here is Will Frank, our legal consultant, to present on the legal aspects of our findings.
Hello, I'm the legal consultant for Energy Solutions Consolidated, and for the next several minutes, I will provide specific cases that represent the largest legal obstacles to the manufacturing of electric vehicles or electric batteries. Next slide, please. Or no, yeah, next slide, sorry. All righty. The Democratic Republic of Congo's lithium and cobalt mines have been subject to international backlash due to their cruel treatment of workers, as well as employing children as young as 12 years old. This is due to a lack of attention by the companies making up the minerals to finish the product supply chain. In one instance, a child named Paul started working in a DRC mine at the age of 12. The labor was grueling with 24-hour shifts, no restroom or sustenance breaks, and no regard for health or safety. This is a common tale in African mines due to their resource exploitation by multinational companies. Many of these multinationals claim to have zero tolerance towards child labor, but with no laws to force companies to check or document their sources of minerals or their suppliers, the abuse will continue and these companies will continue to benefit from the lack of attention. The International Labor Organization's Minimum Age Convention of 1973, number 138, depicts the appropriate age and level of work based on international standards. Paraphrased, it reads, one must be 13 years old to do light work, 15 to do regular work, and 18 to participate in hazardous jobs, stipulating that a country may set the age to 14 for regular work and 12 for light work if the economy and educational systems are underdeveloped. The International Labor Organization's Worst Forms of Child Labor Convention of 1999, number 182 law, states, among other things, if present in a ratifying state and the work results in the impairment of a child's health, safety, and/or morals, it is the duty of the state to provide direct assistance for the removal, social reintegration, and rehabilitation of the child. Additionally, it requires basic educational service and vocational training for all affected children. Next slide, please. Thacker Pass is a potential mine located 200 miles northeast of Reno, Nevada. The Ninth Circuit Court upheld a 1872 mining law that states, all valuable mineral deposits in land belonging to the United States to be free and open for exploration and purchase. The firm had to confirm and the government had to certify that the valuable materials existed on the land. The mine was allowed to start construction with environmentalists and native tribes attempting to appeal the decision and challenge its construction. They claimed that due to the presence of Ute tribe members who were massacred in 1865 by the U.S. cavalry, the construction on said land would be against federal law, those being the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966 and the Native American Graves Protection and Reparations Act of 1990. In addition to the mining and social issues, Thacker Pass is being threatened by a species of snail who are only 1 millimeter in length. The Fish and Wildlife Service initiated a year-long study to determine whether the Kings River piger warrants acceptance onto the endangered species list in accordance with the Endangered Species Act of 1973. Also, Thacker Pass's water pollution control permit does not permit mining below the groundwater table as stipulated in the Clean Water Act of 1977. At the level of strip mining proposed, the groundwater will need to be pumped, which could ultimately lead to the piger's extinction. Though this does not guarantee the mine's construction or lack thereof, the legal hurdles have made the process far more difficult than initially anticipated. Next slide, please. Thank you. Chile has the largest stockpile or largest lithium deposit of any other country in the world. In general, any person or company can request a mining concession over a specified area, with exception of certain non-grantable minerals. This includes lithium. This is due to Decree Law 2886, created in 1979. During this time, global tensions were at an all-time high with the Cold War and its nuclear arms race. Additionally, a military government ruled Chile, and lithium could have been used in the creation of said nuclear weapons. Lithium has transitioned from a potential armament to a vital component in electric vehicle batteries. As of now, lithium can only be extracted by the Chilean government through its companies, civilians, and non-government agencies by one of two means: a concession granted by a supreme decree of the President of the Republic or Ministry of Mining, or by having the concession granted prior to the 1979 decree. Additionally, the Chilean Commission of Nuclear Energy must approve the company for commercialized use of lithium to be excavated, as the material is still considered by the Chilean government to be nuclear related. This is certainly true with certain lithium isotopes that can be used in the nuclear process, such as lithium-7, but it is far more likely for it to be used in the producing and improving of lithium-related goods, specifically electric vehicle batteries. Of all the lithium mined in the world, more than 3/4 is now used in the production of batteries. As of now, there are only 2 companies in operation taking advantage of these rich lithium reserves, with many more awaiting approval. The legal hurdles have made it a not so attractive investment as it stands. And next, we have the financial section. Thank you.
Hi, I'll be speaking of the financial, the best I can with the financial situation. I went on the World Wide Web and searched and Googled, I YouTubed, I checked everything I could on the legal aspects. I first thought, well, I'm gonna do the environment and see how like the damage of the forest, the plants, medicines, the soils, they're all under destruction. I looked for lawsuits on anything, court cases, anyone suing big companies, and to my surprise, the majority of everything I found, all the court cases were dismissed. So, okay, well, I figured the environment wasn't a big enough issue to see any legal battles. I went into the child labor. I looked at different child labor charges, court cases in Chile, in the United States, and to my surprise, they were all dismissed too. There was even appeals denied. So this alone raised the question in my mind, like, why would the federal government dismiss and not care about the well-being of the people and the lands? So there wasn't really much I can go on this part. So what I did was a comparison. I could have did a price comparison to the product and the manufacturers of different types of vehicles, ranging from electric, hybrid, biodiesel, and hydrogen, but that's not the path I wanted to travel. So what I did was I Googled the top 10 mines, and I wanted to see why, what it is that they, oh, okay. So I did the top 10, Albemarle being the top, and then the ones in between, and then the Lithium Americas for the bottom. Albemarle is a company out of the United States. Their capital cost is 53 billion. The reason being is they have 3 different sites. They have one in Chile, they have one in the US, and one in Australia. They have they have an advantage of supply. They have an advantage with the rest of the competition because they can meet the demand. Having multiple sites covers the geological reach and making the minerals easily available. The number 10 spot went to Lithium America, which is out of Canada. They operate in Argentina and in the US. Their capital is 4.2 billion. That's a very big gap. Why was I comparing these? I wanted to know how dirty and how unethical money takes a company. I Googled, I checked, I looked into more, and I found out Albemarle has the top child labor cases that were filed against them compared to the Lithium America. I find that the Chile don't have strong child labor codes. They were hit with many charges: water pollution, air pollution, child labor. There was a lot of court findings, but nothing stood. Lithium America out of Canada runs with Argentina and the Thacker Pass. They have more rules and regulations. They were only violated for water and pollution. So I'm asking, is money really worth it? Is it that ethical to destroy Mother Earth? Paying children to work as little 50 cents to $2 a day? It just baffles me why this is even allowed. I included some, I included some graphs that I found online. I checked out the demand. On here, 2018 to 2025, this is an estimated forecast of the lithium that's going to be extracted. I added, this is just what their They're estimated. I found this one too. They estimated how many electric vehicle models will be launched by 2025. So we're dealing with some big estimates here and not so eco-friendly. I didn't realize. Okay, so do they not realize the Earth's core is protected by these minerals, by these, they're there for a reason. And that will, what will happen once they're all gone? I feel something needs to be done now for our children to enjoy years to come. These were just stats that I've seen and thought I'd be able to shoot up there, the demand of the lithium. Okay. And now I'm going to have to pass it over to the ethical because it was a really hard topic to research. So here's Anthony with the ethical part.
Hi, I'm Anthony Barker, and I'm the ethical consultant for our group. Can you click through the slide a little bit? Two more, I think. Yep. Can you go back to the last slide? It's a little slow. Okay, so before we get into, can you get those back up? Yes. So before we get into the mining and all the ethical issues and the sustainability issues surrounding mining, first off, I want to talk about what is in electric vehicle batteries. So the most important materials are lithium, cobalt, manganese, nickel, and graphite. And for reference, there are 8 kilograms of lithium and 14 kilograms of cobalt. Those are what we're focusing on, the mining and the issues with mining. So that's why I included those. And just for a comparison, there's less than 1 gram of lithium in a cell phone battery. So that just puts into perspective the massive quantity of materials that are required in these electric vehicle batteries. Next slide. Yeah. So first off, I just want to touch on cobalt mines briefly. We're primarily focusing on the mines in the Dominican Republic of Congo. This is where the majority of the issues and the biggest issues have occurred, but Will already covered those pretty thoroughly. So I'm going to go into lithium and the lithium mining. So when it comes to lithium, there are two main types of mining. There is mining of brine deposits, and then there is mining of spodumene. So with brine deposits, the way that it works is this brine solution is pumped out of the ground and it's left in these giant pools for the liquid to evaporate. And then the material that's left behind is lithium and then some other materials. And then those are brought to a facility where they're processed, and then they're shipped off to another facility to turn them into a usable form of lithium that can be used in batteries and other applications. The problem with this is it can only occur, or it primarily occurs in the Andes Mountains, in what's called the lithium triangle, which is between Chile, Argentina, and Bolivia. And then with spodumene mines, the way that this is mined for, spodumene is a crystal-like structure. It forms in metamorphic rocks around the world, and it contains lithium. And so the way that this is extracted from the ground is the land is cleared, and the bedrock it's drilled, blasted, and crushed, and then it's transported to facilities where the lithium is extracted and the non-valuable materials are separated out. Next slide, please. Now, this type of mining is where the environmental concerns come about because in order to mine enough lithium to make one 1,000 pound electric vehicle battery, it requires around 500,000 pounds of material to be moved and processed. And the trucks used to mine this material are some of the largest in the world, and they run basically nonstop, and they use around 250,000 gallons of diesel per year, which emits over 2,400 tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Also, with this type of mining, the problem is that it leads to atmospheric pollution because chemicals, toxic chemicals are released into the atmosphere, and then it gets into the rain and turns into acid rain. Also, the leftover materials, once the lithium is extracted, they go off into tailings ponds, which are lined with a thick polymer that's supposed to be impermeable. However, it typically leaks, and that will allow toxic chemicals to get into the groundwater that way. Next slide, please. So we have a few proposed solutions. One would be to increase the governance over the electric vehicle supply chains, and to make sure that these companies in these third world countries and all around the world are using both ethical and sustainable practices within their mines. And if not, we suggest to impose tariffs on these companies in these countries who are mining unethically to try to deter them from using unethical practices, using unsustainable practices to really help out the workers and to help out the environment as well. Another solution is to encourage hybrid and hydrogen vehicles by 2030. We think that hybrid vehicles and hydrogen vehicles are a much better alternative than electric vehicles. This is due to the fact that hybrid vehicles use far less of these precious materials that are required in these batteries, and hydrogen vehicles don't use them at all. We think this is a good alternative to help, like I said, both the people of these mines who are working under these poor conditions and to improve the environmental conditions surrounding these mines. Now I'll pass it on to Kobe to further discuss the solutions and to wrap up our presentation.
Okay. Hi, yes, I'm Kobe Cree, the Chief Executive Officer of Energy Solutions Consolidated. I know I do not have much time, but our main solution we wanted to go with was encouraging hybrid and hydrogen vehicles by 2030. And I was just going to speak on how the hydrogen powered vehicles are one of the best options to have a clean and sustainable transportation solution. The future is really relying on us to have more eco-friendly and efficient alternatives to fossil fuel powered vehicles. The hydrogen powered vehicles reduce the emission of greenhouse gas emissions, and these hydrogen vehicles have a zero emission energy source, with the vehicles utilizing the hydrogen gas to power an onboard electric motor. They are able to only release water vapor and heat. Hydrogen vehicles offer fast
Guys, I
refueling.
have to stop you. You're out of time.
And I was going to do the closing. That's all right. We unfortunately ran out of time. Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. Thank you for your presentation. I want to ask the judges to come back on. So I'll start the line of questioning, and then I'll turn it over to the judges. Listening to the presentation, there seem to be three core ethical issues that I picked up on. And one is child labor, the increased lithium demand because of the the demand for EV, electric vehicles, increase in child labor to get the lithium out, and then the increase in pollution caused by the lithium extraction. What is the overall ask of this, of your group, of the international mining and metals trade? What is the overall ask that you guys have of us that you'd like us to pursue?
I think I can take this one. I guess what we would be suggesting is to, instead of just solely pushing electric vehicles, I'm sure you've seen in the media nowadays, they're sort of portrayed as this end all be all to environmental conservation. But as we've just shown you through our presentation, that's not technically the case. I think it would, or we as a team, think it would be more beneficial to either go towards more hybrid and hydrogen vehicles as to sort of staunch that supply chain issue and sort of help, I guess, the lithium production get up to pace with the electric vehicles. But as it stands, it almost feels like there's too much demand on this product, and it seems to be kind of detrimental to both our earth and general finances. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to the judges. Nadia, you have anything?
Yep. So I thank you so much for your presentation and the information. I think that from a legal perspective, it was very well thought through. Like you just said, the demand for electric vehicles is on the rise. I guess from an ethical issue part, I just so I can gather my next question. Which ethical issue is the primary one that you guys are trying to tackle? Because I think that there's various ones. I think the lithium battery and the production of that one is the most important part, but I just want to make sure that I'm correct.
Yes, we were just trying to sort of depict that lithium is obviously being overproduced and overused, and that there are viable ways that we could, go as a society and, try and remediate those problems.
Okay, perfect. So, because I also want to, hydrogen vehicles is a newer area of sustainable, or not, well, it is sustainable vehicles and everything. But I think like from an environmental impact, that one is also like a big question mark, because by my understanding, hydrogen vehicles also have an issue of still depending on fossil fuels to a certain extent as well, and hybrid vehicles as well. So can we also, I think, say that we could focus on the sustainable, like how we produce, how, like ethical kind of thinking of where we're getting our supplies, I think is the question I'm trying to like go about. Would that be also an option that you guys would consider? Because I know that from I think that our society is trying to, like, consumer wise, trying to think about the impact of where our supplies are coming from. So I think that would be another consideration that would be very important as well to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. If I heard you correctly, I definitely think both electric vehicles, hydrogen vehicles, almost really any technology we've come out with recently, we've usually put the cart before the horse, so to speak.
Right.
So I do believe that a lot more R&D could be done to possibly, make lithium electric vehicles less dependent on lithium and cobalt and things like that. And also more research being done to better enhance the hydrogen vehicles. But as it stands, we would just need to have a lot more research and development. And I think that comes from a societal pressure to actually want to change.
Definitely. I think like that's just maybe another component that you could possibly add into the presentation, because I think that would create more of like a whole analysis on the on your issue overall. But I think it was very well presented. So thank you.
Thank you.
Judges, Anna, do you have anything?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was on mute. I have a question in regards to the financial implication. Obviously, there's a supply and demand issue, and because of the high demand for electric vehicles and the materials that are used. I agree with the other judge because I also think hydrogen poses other implications as well. So I wanted to know about some mitigation strategies that you might have thought about for either solutions in terms of the child labor, or what are some ways that we as the Mining Trade Association can influence these organizations.
As you are the international governing body of mining and metals, I do believe that more could be done through not only, organizational bylaws and stuff of that nature, but also in the attempt to bring more light to these situations, because people may know, or the vast majority of people may know that child labor is occurring in the world, but I highly doubt that they know that it's to quite an extent. Just having I guess just starting the conversation would be the greatest thing, because us as a small independent company, sorry, something happened there. Us as a small independent company, we do not really have the voice, but you as a large international organization could get the message out and pretty much start a conversation about the whole issue.
Great, thank you.
Monica?
Hi, yes, thank you. Good presentation. I kind of have a question along those lines as well. As like, what other organizations or entities do you think we could get involved in order to get the word out and to spread it? Because as you said, not as many people know about it. So I'm figuring out how do you intend to get it the pressure on so that people will actually really think about, okay, if I'm buying an electric vehicle, this is what I'm adding to compared to if maybe I buy a hybrid or a hydrogen vehicle.
So in our opinion, most people, they aren't going to be reading any of the documents that, the United Nations put out or stuff of that nature. I think it would truly be on the cornerstone of reporting and journalism. Most people do get their news from some source, one or another, whether that be something as ridiculous as TikTok or something as reputable as the New York Post. But I think, I guess more of the responsibility would be left with independent newspapers and things of that sort, just to get the word out to individual people. Like I was saying, we, as a small company, Energy Solutions Consolidated, do not have the reach or the materials or, I guess, resources to actually get that message out. But I think you, as the international organization, I think you would have a much better chance at getting the message across. And not only that, probably have more of a forceful impact than we could otherwise.
Okay, thank you.
David?
Hi. I think the team did a good job of presenting the ethical dilemma that exists. But I think, you can solve one problem and create another, in the sense that by shifting more toward hydrogen vehicles, there's a significant infrastructure dilemma there, and lack of suitable alternatives in a 5-year period of 2030. the hybrid vehicles are a great maybe transition to be, ramping up the hydrogen fueling capabilities. But, as we've seen with electric vehicles already, there's a lot of potential problems with the ability of people to find chargers and all that. And it's even more exacerbated with hydrogen because there's really virtually nothing out there right now. So the hybrids, I think, are the best alternative in terms of transitioning to hydrogen eventually. But I support the approach you took in terms of looking at the child issues and the destruction of the earth to create these batteries. And I think the graphics and the overall presentation left a good impression toward the solution you were coming up with.
Yeah, and that is actually a big part with electrical vehicles too, the infrastructure. And I guess what we would say that we would like this international organization to do is possibly try and get certain, I guess, like the primary users of electric vehicles, try and get the government of those specific nations to increase incentives to build infrastructure and stuff along those lines. The United States has started to do this with not only charging stations, but with hydrogen stations as well. And so the infrastructure is definitely more available now with all the tax breaks and everything like that. And additionally, if you are to buy a hybrid, electric, or hydrogen vehicle, the driver itself could get, I believe, in America, could get up to, I believe, $7,300 in tax credit. So if incentives were provided by specific governments and nations, I believe the infrastructure could go up drastically and possibly even enough to curb the growing demand.
There's one more name here, Ed. I don't know if he's a judge or not.
No, he's our professor. I think he's here to watch.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions from the judges? Just want to throw it out there. Okay. So we will break character now, and this is the time for feedback, constructive feedback. So Nadia, if you have anything you wanted to start us off.
Yeah, definitely. So first of all, thank you very much for your presentation. Like I said, you guys did a really great job at pinpointing the ethical issues. I also want to recognize that I really personally like the Native American tone, because I think like I did a project actually, and it was kind of in a similar essence. So I think it does tie in really well the importance of earth and environmental issues and everything like that. So I really like that. I think from a presentation wise, I think it's great that you said out loud, I'm nervous, I'm this, I'm that, because I think it kind of makes you just be like, okay, now I have to take a breather. But I think just actually taking a deep breath and just coming back to what you need to present would really help. I think with the nerves, I completely understand how nerve-wracking this may be, but again, just breathing through it, just being calm. We're here to listen. I'm very interested. I'm sure the judges as well are over your presentation. So we're here to help you guys grow and listen. And I was very excited I read through the executive summary and I was very excited to see what this was about. So overall, like, great presentation. Again, the Native American tone was amazing. So job well done.
Monica?
Thank you. I do agree. It was a great presentation. The only, I guess I would say, comment I have is that at some points it seemed like it was moving a little fast. I get you didn't have a lot of time, but in trying to intake the information, especially if it's something and character I would probably be familiar with, but I wasn't as familiar with some of the terms. So I would just say sometimes to kind of slow down, not necessarily that you have to explain it more, but just kind of making sure that we're able to take it all in. But overall, I like the slides. They didn't have too much information on it, but it actually provided the information we needed based on what you were talking about. And again, I do appreciate you saying that you were nervous, so that did help us kind of, know what was going on. And then the fact that everybody did have their piece and seemed to really play their part as far as whether you're legal or whether you're financial. So that was very good. Thank you.
Anna?
Yeah, you guys did a really good job. I also wanted to express that, yeah, if you're nervous, it's totally normal. This is where you get to practice and get real life feedback. So I really appreciate all the hard work you guys put into it. One other thing I would recommend on timing is, obviously, rehearse. And, also on your slides, put a couple of bullets. Like, I think there was one area where you guys were talking about the laws. And sometimes it was hard to follow in the narrative because you were reciting the laws, but maybe put some bullet points of like what the main issue of the topic or the law is. So that way we're not too focused trying to follow the narrative, and that will also cut down on your time as far as your presentation. So and yeah, I did like the financial aspect, and then I was looking forward to hearing the summary as well. So that would probably be my biggest feedback is you want to be condensed. And I don't know if you guys had time to rehearse it as a group to see how your presentation flows all together, because obviously it always takes longer because of different aspects during the presentation.
David?
Yeah, first of all, I want to apologize because I got messed up in my time zones, I guess, and I joined en route. But I caught from the legal portion on, and like I said previously, I think it was well laid out and with good visuals to follow what you were saying. These are perhaps more even difficult on Zoom than they are in person. But I thought it was well done, and like she said, it was a case of trying to get the best amount of information in a short period of time, and that's difficult to do, and you did a pretty good job of that.
Thanks. I don't really have anything in addition to say from the other judges. I think they all expressed it really well. I will say that when you started talking about electric vehicles in terms of, I didn't read the executive summary. I was kind of like, hey, what's wrong with electric vehicles? Or what's, I thought this was the end all be all, right? This was why the government is investing so much money in California, one, saying, electronic vehicles by X date going forward. And so you brought a huge light bulb came on in my head. It was like, wait a minute, this isn't the best alternative. But you have so much going forward right now that you're not going to necessarily stop because there's so much investment going forward. I think the biggest thing that jumped out to me was the ask up front. This is what we need, and because there's so much investment going on in this particular direction going forward, and you're decreasing in one area and increasing in the other, is where the additional help we could give or receive from other actors in the, in the industry. Whether it's political, you mentioned, journalism for one, kind of to bring on more, highlight that we've got some other, consequences of this, the electronic vehicle that no one else is highlighting. And I think that was the only thing I could really add. I thought the material was awesome. Obviously like I said, I had no idea that we had an issue here. And this was a great subject. And so I appreciate it, and job well done by the team. Anything else from the judges? Okay, I want to say that concludes it. And to the judges, please don't forget to go to the link and score this presentation. And I want to thank everybody for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And